Welcome everybody, it is I, the Sea Sergeant. We are wasting no time, we are getting right into this video, looking through this stack of cards, gonna go over some pre-grading techniques that I have learned that would have saved me on my very first tag submission. First things first, when you get your stack of cards that you're thinking about grading, you wanna just do that first pass look over, okay? You're looking for major centering issues, major dings, dents, scratch, all the major stuff that you can just catch. As you see here with the top loader and everything, there's a lot of glare, so it does make it hard to really pick out maybe some of the finer, smaller issues with the card, which again is why this is why you're doing your first pass, right? So the big thing that I've started looking for here is just centering. So, you know, is our left side super heavy? Is our top super heavy on both the front and back? And then obviously if you catch any, you know, real big dings, that's where, okay, now we're going to put that in the pile of not grading versus, okay, let's take a deeper look at these ones to see if they go further in our selection process, as you say. And I may be going a little fast through this. That's because this video is not intended to be a full-on guide of this is what you need to do and how to do it. These are just things that I've picked up from my research, other YouTubers out there who are well versed in this process. I am not. I'm just sharing some little tidbits that I wish I knew before submitting cards for the first time ever, because I probably could have saved myself from that 8. Anyways, I will take a closer look here, right? Let's call it out. So looking at the front of the card, left side of the card looks, you can see visibly is thicker than the right side. And the top looks a little bit thicker than the bottom as well, so centering is slightly off. You're essentially doing the same thing on the back here. That top, maybe a little heavy. The right side, definitely a little heavy. All right, I want to take a look at the spreadsheet real quick because I want to talk about some things, my thoughts, my opinions, right, on sort of the 2 reasons why you're thinking about grading cards, right? I think you fall into a general category of money and personal collection and nostalgia. If you're in it for the money, you may want to create a spreadsheet to sort of track everything. You probably want to have a threshold, know what the market is, know the values of the graded cards. If you're in it for the hobby purely just because you love this particular card, the artwork, that specific Pokemon, then maybe you don't care as much as these numbers, right? You know, maybe you still want to create a list so that you know what's there, what. If you're like me, money is not, it's on my mind, but not in the forefront, right? So I look at money in that what if scenario when I'm grading cards, you know. I send a card out, I know what it sort of value is, you know, if it comes back to 10, 9, whatever, versus the raw value, and I just accept that, whatever that is. And I also know in the back of my head, if shit gets real and I have no money to pay the bills, well, I do have some graded cards I could sell. I do have raw cards I can sell. So it is kind of good to be aware of the current market, even if you're just buying packs and ripping them and then hoarding all the cards and have a ton of bulk, that's fine. Basically what I'm saying is have it your way, right? Have fun with it. Collect the cards, the sets, the things you like. Because in the end, it's about you. And I want to take a look at this melodic. This is an example of the things I didn't know biting me in the butt. We can see it's raw, according to Rare Candy, right now, raw $130, we'll call it. Had I pre-graded this at all, I would have known that getting this tag 10 and almost doubling my money was a long shot. And had I even looked at the 9 and known, hey, if this doesn't come back at 10, I've now lost value. And then, you know, 8.58, we just lose value. So this is something to keep in mind as well when you're thinking about grading cards. So you can see here in this spreadsheet now, I have it color coded. I've set my threshold, if you will, at 3 times the raw value. So essentially any card that is 3 times the raw value, I'm giving it thought and giving it that deeper look for potential grade candidates, right? So anything that is either yellow or, I'm sorry, blank or red, they don't make the cut, right? So, like I said, I got our stacks. This one here, the one that was rejected after the first pass. Essentially, the centering was so bad, or there was an obvious major corner ding, scratch, or something like that. And then this stack here were the ones that didn't make it based off of essentially the spreadsheet that I had shown. Some of it for value reasons, but mostly just because I didn't necessarily love the card, didn't really want to spend the money to have it graded, to have that card in a graded version. Right? I just personally didn't love them. This stack here is a stack that I would totally grade. However, because I'm sticking with tag from here on out, and there was no data for these cards as a graded tag anything, there was data as a PSA, but I don't know if I can put those one-to-one. This next stack are just 2 cards that I know have some damage, and I wanted to just show some different examples. And then finally, the stack that we're actually considering. Alright, this is one of those cards, that stack of 2 that I want to mention. We're just gonna kind of quickly go through here. When you take your closer look, what you're trying to do is pass that card through the light, moving the light around the surface of the card, looking for any dings, dents, scratches, anything that stands out as damage on the surface. Also rechecking those edges and corners for any damage there that you may have missed on your first pass. And by all means, I am no professional at this. These are, again, just some things I've noticed. I mean, as you can see here, there's a pretty obvious, I don't know if it's a scratch or a white line that runs down that right side of the card, right? So this is something I've noticed now that I've found the information of using a light going over your card, using natural light, which I hear works even better. Unfortunately, I didn't have any when I recorded this. It's just the more you know, right? The more you know. I'm probably gonna shut up now for a good rest of the video. The steps are all the same. Each card, give it the overview, look for centering, major issues, take a closer look for those scratches, dings, dents, damage to the edges, corners, the back, all of that, and then decide, is it worth grading? Is it worth taking that chance? I do feel like it's important to call out that I may have mentioned it already, but I'm solely down to clown with Tag. That is the grading company of my choice at this moment in time. However, I want to put out that in case you don't know, Tag has stopped a lot of their grading to catch up on their backlog. So there's only a few options you can send in cards under. So even going through these cards, none of these are going out for grading anytime soon. Once Tag hopefully reopens some of their other tiers for submissions, I'll create another video to go over the cards that I am going to send out, and we'll send those out, and well, I'll keep you guys posted. In the meantime, leave a comment down below, let me know which cards you'd like me to send out for grading, and maybe they'll just make the cut. That's gonna be it for this one, ladies and gents. I hope you learned something new. I hope this was useful and helpful. Leave a like, comment down below, let me know if you've learned something, or share some tips and tricks of your own when it comes to pre-grading cards. Until next time, take it sleazy. Sea Sergeant, out.